welcome to Once Upon a Stitch Nook and my desk where the creativity happens. We are going to be working on this rosebud stitch. This is going to be the band for my rose cardigan pattern, and so this can either be used for your own purposes or is the one I use in the pattern if you are following that. So this is just a little swatch sample. It's worked in multiples of 3. And yeah, so we will be getting into that and building up our waistband with this stitch. So let's get into it. So a little information before we fully get started. I'm using Yarn Bee Yarntopia in the colors, let's see, Sage, Scarlet, and oh dear, I don't have the color for this, but it's like an ivory color. It is 100% acrylic, though it feels very cotton, and it is a fine weight number 2, and I'm using a 3.75 millimeter. You could also use a 3.25 if you want it tighter. But yeah, so this is basically worked up in a multiples of 3, so you'll be chaining a foundation of however many of whatever length you want, as long as it amounts up to 3. In the case of the cardigan, you want it to be measure your where you want it to sit around your waist. It's kind of typically like an empire waist or wherever you want to lay it. Just make sure it measures up about that length. You can give yourself a little extra room if you need. And also a little disclaimer, the 3 stitches, you are going to have a rosebud basically for every 3 stitches, except one of the 3 stitches will be worked for the edge. So we'll see that more as we go. So yeah, I just want you to chain a multitude of 3 until you get the desired length you want. And so just go ahead and do that, and I will see you at the end once I have my length. All right, we're back. I did my chain and wrapped it around my upper rib cage where I want it. I made sure it's a little loose because it most likely will tighten a bit on this. And so all you're going to do now is look at your chain. You're going to be working, let's see if I can get that to focus. There we go. These back loops, if you see that. Not the 2 front loops, but the back loops. And I already did, but chain 1 extra to start your working row. And so from the back, start in the 2nd back loop from your hook. So you're going to skip that extra chain you made, and then you're just going to work all the way across whatever number you have of chains. You're going to work in the back loops, single crochet all the way. So this is nice and simple, nothing complex. Oops. So just don't get it twisted around. You can, if you prefer to work in the front loops, but I find it's easier because in the pattern I want to work off of both ends, so it's easier when each edge has these guys. So that is up to you. This is what I prefer. It also gives it a nice clean edge, so that's just a preference. So yeah, just work your way all the way across. I have a long chain here, so I'm not going to bore you with that. I will just see you at the end once I've done all my single crochets and all my back loop chains. Okay, we are done. As you can see, I have finished my single crochets, but at the very end, before you pull in that last loop, we're going to do a color change. So just for the last loop that you use for the single crochet, join in your new color, and so that just gives it a clean transition into the next row. So we are going to chain 1 at the beginning of the row. Here we are switching with the ivory color, and we are going to half double crochet now in each single crochet that we just did. So this is another very simple row to do, simple stitch, just very straightforward. I like to tuck my ends in at the bottom and just crochet over them. I am going to bring the green all the way across. In this case, that is up to you. You can snip it here and then just join it later in the end, but in this case I like to just carry it over because we're going to use it for the next edge. Also, don't worry about carrying over well, it depends. In the case of my project with the cardigan, we are going to clean up the edges later by going over them. But if this is something that you need your edges not to have yarn carried over from previous rows, you are welcome to snip them and go ahead. But yes, in this case, I'm just crocheting over that active yarn from the ball, carrying it over and just crocheting my half double crochets. So just do that all the way across, and I'll see you at the other side. Here we are at the end of the half double crochet row. You can see how I pulled the string all the way under as I crocheted my rows. It's now sticking out on the other end. And just like before, where we're going to do that last yarn over and pull through loops, in this case 3 loops for the half double crochet, you're going to do your color switch using the yarn we had just pulled through and carried from the first row. And then you'll go and chain 1, and now you can start let's see, no, you're going to chain 3, my apologies. I have switched to doing voiceover, so I'm trying to keep up. And so you're going to do a double crochet in the first stitch, then you're going to chain 1. Now for the repeat, skip 2 and double crochet into the third stitch. There we go, we do our double crochet. Now chain 1 and double crochet into the same stitch. This is giving that stem / leaf effect, and you're going to repeat this. You're going to now skip 2, double crochet into the third, chain 1, double crochet into the same stitch, and that will be a repeat across this entire row. This one's pretty simple and goes by pretty quickly. So yeah, skip 2, double crochet, chain 1, double crochet in the same stitch, and just repeat that as we go. I will show you at the end how we'll end it off, but for now just keep repeating this pattern throughout this row. Alright, I'm going to have to make a little edit here that you do not see me do visually. Here you should do a chain 1, skip 2, and double crochet into the last stitch. You don't see me do the chain 1 here. It is fixed in the next clip, but just keep that in mind. And for that last double crochet, you see me undo that there. You don't want to yarn over and pull in with the green. You want to yarn over and pull in with your next color, which is our red here, our beautiful scarlet. So there we have it, and then you're going to want to chain 5. So go ahead and do that, turn your work, and now we're going to do our row stitch, which composes of a repeat of yarn over, insert into chain, yarn over, pull through. Do that a total of 4 times to create 9 loops on your hook. Then you're going to yarn over, pull through 8 of those loops, yarn over, and pull through your last 2 loops. Then go ahead and chain 2, and then you continue that same stitch into each of the chains, or where you see that V made, that in between space. So you're going to repeat that for each of your roses. And just go over that again. It's yarn over, insert into the chain, yarn over, pull through, and repeat that for a total of 4 times to get yourself 9 loops. Pull through, yarn over and pull through 8 of the loops, and then yarn over and pull through the last 2 loops. You'll see that gives it a little point, a little cinch at the top. Then chain 2 and continue into the next stitch. So go ahead and do that across your entire row here with the red. You can see in the sample there how that will look, that you're going to be having these spaces in between each of your roses. It creates this nice flower effect. So it's kind of a rosebud or a tulip, depending on what you're going for and what colors you use. But yeah, it's very cute and pretty, and just go ahead and do that throughout the row. Now at the end of the row, you see here we have one extra space to go through. So after your chain 2, you're just going to double crochet into that last stitch, kind of between the stitch and the chains. But again, you're going to pull from a previous row, or if you've just want to join it cleanly with a new ivory yarn, go ahead, yarn over and pull that through. Then you're going to chain 1, turn your work, Oh, actually, go ahead and chain 2 total. And then you're going to want to half double crochet like we did before. But in this case, since we don't have clear stitches, what you are going to do is half double crochet 3 in each of the chains that you did, the chain 2s from the previous row, skip over the rosebud, and chain 3 into the next chain. So simple enough. It's just nice, easy half double crochets, but instead of having clear stitches, you're just making your half double crochets into the chain spaces, if that makes sense. Here I need to do a little untangle, and I'm just gonna continue a little bit to show you how that will kind of look. It has a little bit of a bumpy effect, but overall it works out nicely, and the preceding rows will help straighten it out. So there I need to do some more untangling, and in this case I am working the active yarn of the red thread over, but I'm not going to carry it all the way over. This is just a way I like to work it into the piece by crocheting over it, and then I'll snip it at a point where I feel it won't come out again and it feels secure there. I might loop it through one of the rosebuds if I want extra security, but that's just kind of a personal choice there. So go ahead and continue that. And at the very end, you know the drill by now. You can tell there's been a lighting change. It's more in the evening now. But before we do that last yarn over pull through the loops, you're going to switch to our green color. So finish that off and then chain 1. So we've made that adjustment. You can see how it's working up now. Turn your work, and now this is nice and simple. And again, I'm going to crochet over that ivory to now cinch in place. We are nearly done with our colors, so not too worried about really how you want to finish them. Do it according to your own preference, but just single crochet into each of those stitches all the way across. And at the end, you can, with confidence, finish the piece properly. No need to change colors. And clip and then work that loose thread back into the row as neatly as you can. But yeah, so the only really difficult parts may be the middle green, and which isn't that difficult, and then the rose stitch, if you are a beginner, may take you a few times just to go over, make sure your tension is good. You kind of want a good consistent tension. But then the other 4 rows are just half double crochets and single crochets, and that gives it a nice neat border. So you kind of see in this example how that will work up. So we have the rosebuds in the middle, and they get a good border. Here you see I do that clip of the ivory thread now that I think it's nicely secure within the piece, and then continue crocheting without it. So just give you an example, visual, I guess, of what I meant by that. So just continue your single crochets all the way across, and then I'll see you. And here we are at the end. We've done our full single crochet. We're going to give that a clip. Now that it's done, I forget if I go ahead and do that here, but here you see the full band that I've done. This is going to be like an empire waist on the cardigan. It is also what we use for the arms as well. So once that pattern is done, it will be linked below if you want to find it, or if you are using it and found this video from that. Thank you for following, and let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you for watching.